Maseches of Metzia Nun Amud Aleph. Everybody can remember the topic of this daf because the daf is Nun Hey, and that I think is 55. And in Amud Aleph we talk about 5 prutas. In Amud Beis we talk about 5 chumshim. So that's very easy. 55, 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. Now you know why some people can quote different places from Shas. It's only through making these tricky tricks. It's not really, it doesn't show any real knowledge. Anyway, so let's learn the Ilu Nishmas, all the wounded, Nishmas, the killed, and the Refuas, the Ptsuim, the wounded, and Hashem Yazor, that all Ilam Ovis Lanetzach, Hashem Yazor, and the Nishmas of Rabi Meir Menachem Nakiva, and Yerei Shabbos Elchanan Yitzchok, Thomas Moshe Rus Bas Shalom, Refuas Kol Chol Yisrael. Okay. Good morning, Nun Hey Amud Aleph. Nun Hey Amud Aleph. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Gufa Amar of Ktina. Gufa Amar of Ktina. 3 lines from the bottom of the page. We discussed and still discussing the Shiur Shove Pruta. In many areas in halacha, we see that Shove Pruta is the minimum amount. I also made not exactly a mistake, but I have to add something important. When I spoke about Oino, we said that there is a machloikes, and some people hold that Oino is not Shove Pruta, the minimum, right? That's why the Gemara at the beginning discusses that point, and it's a chiddush. Why? Because some people hold that Oino is not by Shove Pruta, but by Isar. Rashi says that the Eino le Prutois, but Isar is way more. Isar is eight times the Pruta. Okay, so according to Rashi, the minimum amount for Oino is 8 Prutos. Less than that, there's no Oino. Of course, the percentage has to be a 6th, but the amount has to be 8 Prutos, which is an Isar. You remember Saddam Pap? Who's Saddam Pap? Remember? Gun. You smell the gun? Pop. Sela is bigger than. Sela contains how many dinarim? 4. Very good, right? And a dinar, what's below dinar? You're having dinner, breakfast, lunch. More, very good. And that's how many? 6. Very good. And then there is, after the mo, there is pundion, right? And that is 2, right? And after pundion, you have isar, that also 2 of those. And in one isar, you have 8 prutos. How much is a shekel? Anybody remembers from a few days ago? Not the shekel you have in your pocket. The shekel is shekel is not half a dinner, it's half a sela. That's why 2 shekels is 1 dinner. Exactly. Weiter, frag the Gemara, Gufa, 3 lines from the bottom of the page from the Amud Aleph. Amar of Ktina, Bezdin is cooking a fila lepochas mishvei puta. We had a debate. Remember, there were 2 brises. There's Avkana, which is our Mishnah, and there's Levi. According to our Mishnah did not say that Bezdin doesn't sit for less than Shove Pruta. If I have a complaint against somebody and the issue is less than Shove Pruta, I complain that he owes me 5 agorot. Would Bezdin actually sit down to take care of business and actually, discuss that and deal with it? Well, it's a machloikes. We saw the Rav Ktina says you may do that. Yeah, we saw that Levi says not like that. Our Mishnah did not say that a person, one of the 5 prutos of our Mishnah did not include the sitting in Bezdin. In other words, our Mishnah may possibly be supporting Rav Ktina that says that Bezdin needs cooking. Bezdin actually get to work. They care about it. There's a kuklakach. They get together and they say, "Oh, so and so owes you 5 agorot. Let's deal with it." The question is as follows. Okay, that's the opinion of Rav Ktina. However, Meisiv Rove has a question on Rav Ktina that says you may be sitting on less than Shove Pruta. What is the question? Meisiv Rove. It says in the Brisa, Ve'es asher choto min hakodesh yeshalem. What does it say in the Posuk? Whatever you took from Hekdesh, HaKodesh, if one was Nehene, however you translate it into English, Nehene, you benefit, you enjoy, you take, you You smear the oil of hekdesh, you ate the stuff of hekdesh, you moved the hekdesh and bought with it new gift for your wife. Whatever you did with hekdesh by mistake, what do? Yeshalem, you have to pay. How much do you have to pay if you were what should we call it? If you were from hekdesh? However, here we say that Yeshalem, listen to the surprise, including less than shve pruta. If I took, a bit of oil from hekdesh, less than shve pruta, 1 drop of oil from hekdesh, it's not pruta, I still have to pay. Why? Because it says ve'es, says Rashi, the first Rashi, ve'es dorish. They call esin v'gamin ribuin. Because the Torah says ace, that is to say, we want to include something else. Not only you have to pay with pruta, even if you enjoyed less than pruta, you have to pay. Did I just contradict myself? Didn't the Mishnah tell us that you only have to pay if you were in hand of the pruta? That's the answer. What did you guys all say? In order to pay chomesh and a korban, it's only if you benefited from what? A shove pruta. You took from hekdesh a little bit of fruit or something, or shampoo, whatever that may be of hekdesh, and you're nehene, how much shove pruta? Woo! Then all hell, breaks loose. Then you have to pay the chomesh, osham, besides the keren, of course. However, if you took from hekdesh less than shve pruta, you still have to pay how much? The actual keren, the principal. You took from hekdesh 5 agorot, you have to pay back the hekdesh 5 agorot, right? That's what we say over here. In other words, and you really have to. It's not even debatable. Zog the Gemara, if so, wait a second. Lehishovoin. I missed that word, right? Lehishovoin means to return. Baba, what I just told you now is Tosas Rosh. Tosas Rosh says that. Lehishovoin, to return the minimum, even if it's less than shve pruta that you took, you have to return. Zog the Gemara, wait a second. That sounds like a special chidush for who? Lakoidesh in. Avlehediot loy. Wait a second. We see what? We see that if it's something belonging to hekdesh, that's a special posuk for hekdesh, less than shve pruta, I have to return it to who? To hekdesh. I have to give 5 agorot to hekdesh somehow. Okay, mashma. That is, what can we derive from here? Only hekdesh. Who's more choshuv, hekdesh or regular guy? Hekdesh. Lehediot loy. What's a hediot? A regular person, not an idiot. Hediot is you and I. We're not idiots. A regular person is not hekdesh. You don't have to return less than shve pruta. So tell me, please, Rav Ktina, says the Gemara, what do you mean Beis Din are going to sit? They're going to sit and discuss what? He doesn't owe it to him. Of course, it says, midas chasidus, return him the 5 agorot if you can, or ask him mechila if you can be moichel. Different story. Nobody says it's allowed to take even 1 drop from your friend, but because you can't force him to pay it back, because only hekdesh you can force. Mashma, that regular bein odom l'chaber between Reuben and Shimon and Chaim Yankel, you cannot force. So what's Beis Din sitting for? To just give him sympathy? Go to the shrink, not to the Beis Din. Ma kesher. Yeah, that's a big question of Ktina. What's Beis Din going to do there if less than shve pruta is only by hekdesh and not by regular people? Beis Din are between Reuben and Shimon, not between hekdesh. Answers the Gemara. If you want to learn Rav Ktina's statement, this must be what he really said. Rav Ktina. Let's say Beis Din started off only by shve pruta. Less than shve pruta, you don't get Beis Din to sit. They have nothing to help you with. But if the din started with shve pruta, goimrin hafilu lepochos mishve pruta. You may end up the din, even though at the end of the din, the sum discussed in less than shve pruta, as we're going to explain soon. Continues the Gemara, and then Rashi. At the beginning of the din, if Reuben screams at Shimon about 5 agorot, then nobody's going to listen, right? To start off the case, to open the case in Beis Din, you have to have at least shve pruta. I don't know how many, 13 agorot. However, Gemar din lo beinan pruta. If at the end of the din it comes out that the discussion somehow evens out, there's a word in Hebrew called mitkazez. If it somehow evens out to be less than shve pruta, you still sit on that and continue the din, even though it includes less than shve pruta. Quickly, Rashi. Im huzkiku beis din l'shve pruta ben tovea lenitba. Okay, there's a tovea lenitba, a plaintiff and an accused, and between them there's a discussion shve pruta. Goimrin afilu v'pochos. Listen to Rashi. Im chazer sheni v'tzvoi pochos mishve pruta. Koydem shom the beis din misham. You tell me that I owe you a pruta. Well, you, Reuven, you claim that Shimon owes you shve pruta. Before the finish of the din, Shimon says you owe me how much? Half a pruta. So even though at the end of the day the discussion is about half a pruta, if you even out 1 minus half, as long as Beis did not finish this case, although these are two cases, it's Chiddush. Rambam says a little bit different. Rashi says it's two cases, but he's basically catching them before the train runs away. Says the other guy, you know what, I owe him a pruta, or 2 or 3. In this case, let's say 1 pruta. But he owes me another half a pruta from 10 years ago, from some loan, from Bada Bais, whatever. Then they do take care of that and take that into account. Misham is kokin lo, he finishes off Rashi. And we don't say, it's half a pruta, we don't care about that. We do. We do care about the half a pruta if it's part of the bigger picture of the first complaint, which was of a pruta. And therefore, and that's Rav Ktina's Chiddush, which other people may say no. Halacha is like Rav Ktina. I actually learned this recently in Choshen Mishpat, before Shovavim I did Choshen Mishpat, and it says that in Siman Vav Zayin, it says there, Mamash that if he started over Shovavim, at the end of the day, it comes out that the difference between what he owes him and the other. By the way, it could also be million and million and a pruta. It could be a big case, right? To big corporations. But at the end of the day, it's evened out, and the difference between them is half a pruta. Beis will sit down and decide who owes who the half a pruta. Get it? It could be $10 million. I owe you 10 million, you claim you owe me 9 million, and then blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, if at the end of the day it's just less, Beis doesn't say we don't care. Once we set to din, once we started, we finish off all the way down to the last penny, as the famous Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Daf Ches, Amud Aleph, din pruta shebenecha din pruta kedin mea. Right? You treat 1 pruta as if it's 100. We don't have small money in Judaism. Is that a nice YouTube title? Small money in Judaism? Okay. Zog the Mishnah. Remember we have 55 YouTube subscribers? Today, 55. We're on page Nun Hey, 55. Says the Elige Mishnah. Chamisha chumoshin hen. There are 5 chumoshim. No, Bereshis Shmois. Is that what he means? Yeah. 5 books of Moses? Yeah. Chamisha chumoshin. Bereshis Shmois. No. Chamisha chumoshin hen. There are 5 times in the Torah when the Torah requires you to pay an extra 5th, which is really an extra 4th. And you know them all. And it's even in the chart, right, from last week. What are the 5? Now, that can be very confusing, because really the first 5 mentioned here are all one. There are 5 groups. There are 5 prototypes, okay, of things that you have to pay chomesh for, an extra chomesh. What are they? Elohen. Group number 1 that includes 5 items. Ha'oichel truma. What is an oichel truma? If Yaakov Gitztin, when Mashiach comes, if he eats truma, does he have to pay an extra chomesh? No, you're a coin. It's okay. Don't look so concerned. I would, you would, or even today. A zar, who's a zar? A non-coin eats truma by mistake. He has to pay an extra 5th to the coin in the shape of fruit, the whole thing. Now, truma is a big word. What's truma? What's a regular truma? What comes to mind with truma? I have a kri, I have a pile of fruit, and I have to take 140, 150, 160, just one little bit to exempt the whole kri, and then that truma gdola goes to the kohen. Next, please, the trumas meiser. Trumas meiser means what? If I gave, after I gave Yaakov, any Levim around? No, I gave Johnny Links, I really like him. So I give him what? My trumas, meiser rishon. Meiser rishon is 10 or 10 left of what we already took from before. So it's really, I don't know, about 9 or so from the pile goes to the Levi. What does Johnny the Levi have to do with that, with what he has? He has to give Trumas Meiser 1/10 of what he has, again, to Yaakov, to the Kohen. So that's Trumas Meiser. So let's say I, by mistake, ate Trumas Meiser. I'm not a Kohen, I'm not a Levi, even I'm nothing. Yeah, and I ate a Trumas Meiser by mistake. I have to add a chomesh. I still have to add a chomesh, the same thing. And this is not a separate. That's the same idea. It's all called truma. The trumas meiser shel dmai, our good old friend dmai. What's dmai? Let's say there was an Ama Oretz, and that Ama Oretz, we decided that although most of them take meiser, we deal with it as if they don't. And therefore, there's a trumas meiser of dmai. You bought something from an Ama Oretz, from a person who does not knowledgeable or doesn't care, or both, and the trumas meiser of him, you have to take. and you ate it by mistake. By mistake, you took the Trumas Meiser of the Dmai. So then, by the way, did you notice what's missing here? We didn't say the Truma of Dmai, only Trumas Meiser of Dmai. Good. Very good. The Gemara at the end of Sota says that Rabbi Yochanan Kohen Gadol, I think he's the one who went off the derech at the end of his life, but let's leave that alone. Rabbi Yochanan Kohen Gadol, what did he do? He sent messengers to all over Eretz Israel. He sort of ran a survey, like a poll. And what? And he saw that most of the Meratzim, very, very big, vast majority, or almost all of them, they take Truma Gdoila. Truma Gdoila they're scared of, that they do take. So then the Gzer of Dmai did not include Truma Gdoila. So if you buy Meikar Adin, I don't know if today what applies, Meikar Adin, you buy Truma's fruit from the guy who has a kippah, such a huge kippah, that size, with a microscope you have to watch, nothing to do with a certain prime. And what? and he has Babasali on the wall, but not the other way. So what do you have to take? You have to take all Maestras, all the other ones, but not Truma Gdola. But Trumas Meister you do have to take, because that you don't take. And if you ate that by mistake, you have to pay an extra fifth. Now the challah. Oh, challah. Yeah, your wife forgot to burn the challah. She has some challah dough. Somebody baked the challah dough, and by mistake you ate it. You have to pay chomesh. How much is that dough worth? Worth a few shekels. It's nice challah. You have to pay an extra fifth. The bikurim. Oh, that beautiful basket, that we draw in the kindergarten. The bikurim, the fruit of the bikurim. Who owns the bikurim, my friends? Fine. Where does he eat it? With his family? Where? Yerushalayim. And I ate it by mistake. What do I have to do? Chomesh. Moisif chomesh. Now, if you notice, there are 5 items here, but these are not the 5 chumoshim. They're all under one umbrella called what? Truma. Because both Trumas that we mentioned, and also Chala and Bikurim in the Torah, they're all called what? Truma. We said it recently. Bikurim are called Truma, and Chala is called Truma. Bikurim is called Truma, and therefore, because Truma and you have to add chomesh, all those are under the definition of Truma. So far, we have only one that includes 5 subtitles. Everyone's with me. Baruch Hashem. Now, group number 2. Neta revai u'maiser sheni sheloi moisif chomesh. Okay, maiser sheni, we all have PhD already in maiser sheni, right? What's neta revai? He's a new kid in town. Neta revai, anybody? Please help me. I'm from Tel Aviv. I don't know anything about Judaism. The 4th year of what? Not Shemitah. Not Shemitah. No. The 4th year of the tree, which means the tree is 4 years old. Mazel tov, you bake him a cake. And also the tree, the fruit of the tree, that the tree is 4 years old, not the fruit, hopefully. The tree is 4 years old, so you can't just eat the fruit because it's not orla. You have to take, it's exactly like Ma'aser Sheni. Same halachic behavior, take it to Yerushalayim, or if it's too heavy, too shmevi, too tome, you exchange it for money, then the money is special, same thing. How do you know that? Says Rashi, interesting, by Netar Rava, it does not say anything about chomesh and pidyon and all that, but we learn it b'gzera shava from our good friend Ma'aser Sheni. But Ma'aser Sheni, the Torah says very before it, right? Ma'aser Sheni, we know the whole story. I'm not going to repeat it again. Netar Rava and Ma'aser Sheni are the same group. Why? Because one we learn from the other. Zera shava kodesh hilulim kodesh. We learn one to the other. Very nice. Group number 3. Shaloi. Shaloi moisif chomesh. What happens if it's your Netar Rava? Anybody here has a fruit tree in the back garden? No? Anybody? Nobody? Really? You all live in RBS? I don't believe you. No fruit in the back. No, where's your lemon tree? So, no, a lot of people here have trees. The kids are, so if anybody here has a tree and he doesn't want to give the Netar Rava the extra chomesh because he wants to redeem it without giving chomesh, he can play what's called in nice English, kombina, play a game and give it to somebody else. If I am poida someone else's Netar Rava or someone else's Ma'aser Sheni, I do not have to, I don't have to add a chomesh. Only a person shaloi on your own Ma'aser Sheni, your own Netar Rava, you have to give it. And I was right, by the way, when I said knas, because Torah says it's kilu, the Torah gave you a knas. In other words, because you are the one who gave it, we say there's something a bit not 1,000,000% nice, to speak balabatishly, about taking it back. Look, you gave a gift and you gave it back, you took it back, you go on with it instead of reversing it yourself. If it's somebody else. You're the one who kilu gave the Ma'aser Sheni. If you want to take it back, that carries with it the fine kivyachol doraisa dike me'ein knas me'ain of an extra chomesh. So that's the second group. Excuse me. We spoke. Yeah, I can say you. I can be makni to you. I'll makni you the fruit temporarily, like mechiras chometz, like prusbul, like all other halachic kombinot. I'll decide that my lemons are yours. I'll give you one or two. We're going to make a deal. I don't know. And then the fruit are ki'ilu yours. You do hagba on the fruit, and then you do the pidyon, and then give it back to me. That's one way. That's easy way. Now, the third one. Yeah. Then you don't have to pay chomesh. Third, apoide es hekdeisha moisif chomesh. What's that? Please translation. I was makdish something to base on mikdash, and I repeat something, anything you makdish to base on mikdash. Yeah, when you take it back yourself, you want to redeem it back, be it a gold watch or karka, whatever. What? You add a fifth, which is really a fourth, right? We just had that, right? We just mentioned it before. A person who is nehene, yeah, who benefits against halacha by mistake from something of hekdesh, yeah, unknowingly has to pay that back to hekdesh plus the chomesh. If it is, yeah, by mistake, he was nehene. That's not a makdish. Don't get confused. That's nothing to do whether he was makdish or not. He illegally enjoyed the oil. Oil is a good example. Shemen mishcha. You took from Shemen mishcha, not knowing it's Shemen mishcha. You smeared it. I have dry hands. You smeared it on your hands. Opa, that oil is hekdesh. What do? Pay the amount back and plus the chomesh. And by the way, in osham. Last but not least, a person stole from his friend. It's very interesting. Again, 5. Remember the beginning of the pact. There are 5 ways how you can steal from your friend. Not you should. Yeah? Either you hold back a loan, you hold back a deposit, you don't pay a salary on time. Science fiction. Who doesn't pay salaries on time? Never happened. The Jewish people? No. Yeah, gezel, this, hikrish. So these things, if you denied and lied and swore l'sheker, then you have to pay the principal plus a chomesh and an osham. You want to have a very good simmer to remember all 5. Mecharusa was very, very happy when I told him that. I would divide the 5 into 3. Yeah, the very bad boy, the so-so bad boy, and the good boy. The very bad boy is osham gzelos, osham meilos. The one who actually stole on purpose and swore l'sheker has to pay chomesh, has to also pay a korban, give a korban. Gzelos, meilos, a person who is not so bad, it's a mistake, but lemaisa, he also has to give a korban. The one who embezzled, meila in modern Hebrew is embezzlement. Yeah, he took, but embezzlement is bemazid. It's embezzlement unknowingly. He has to give an osha. The second group is the one who doesn't have to give a korban, but is also a little bit of a bad boy. That's a person who had a truma. A person ate truma by mistake. He doesn't know that the truma is truma belonging to a kohen. He doesn't have to give a korban, lefi the mainstream opinions, but he still has to pay. The other 2 are good children. What are they? People who want to get back their meiser sheni that they gave or the hekdesh that they gave. Although I said it's a little bit of a knas, but it's not an avera. It's not a sin. Yeah, he wants to get back the gold watch, shalom bayis, whatever. He wants to get back whatever the meiser sheni. He doesn't have koch to go to Yerushalayim. So really, there are 3 groups over here. Yeah, that makes it maybe easier for us. And it's all in the charts. It's all in the charts, Baruch Hashem. Amar Rove. Now Rove comes and asks a question. Actually, quoting Reb Lozor as asking the question. Amar Rove. Kasha lele Reb Lozor. Trumas meiser shel dmai. Now, you mention here Trumas meiser shel dmai. Meaning, out of all the trumos, the 5 trumas we said, when it comes to my Trumas meiser, the meiser from the meiser, even though it's dmai. Dmai is the Rabanan invention, Rabanan establishment, right? Chachamim established that even though we know that even the other meisers, not only Truma Gdoilo, what's the names? The Ameratzim, most of them do take. Let's say 60% of them take all Trumas and all meisers, and usually in halacha, majority rules. Roiv is enough. Here Chachamim said we want to be extra frum, extra machmir, and deal with Dmai as if it's not gemeistered. But Dmai is a DeRabanan. Give me another example for Isser DeRabanan. Yesterday was the Holy Sabbath. Did you play with your pen and and what? And the muktzah. Muktzah is the Rabanan. Rabanan invented muktzah. Shlomo Melech maybe, but Lamaisa, Rabanan, most of it is muktzah. Muktzah is the Rabanan. Here's a Rabanan establishment called what? Called Mai. Okay. Track the Gemara. V'chi osa chachamim chizuk l'divrem keshel Torah. Did chachamim Chazal actually made their words be as strong as Divrei Torah? In other words, in a way, isn't it enough that the Torah, I'm in one sentence, including here what Tosas Rosh say, the Torah's idea of chomesh is a chiddush. I stole, I have to pay the same. Tell Tim McKenzie, why do you have to give chomesh? Doesn't make sense. The Torah said you have to give an extra. So when Chachamim established their meiser, it's still a whole new thing, DeRabanan. They also established that I have to give an extra chomesh. Is that so? That Chachamim made it as strong as Torah? The Tosas and Tosas Rosh point out many times, many times. Tosas Rosh has a long list. I don't remember, unfortunately, but he says many times Chachamim became stricter on their own words more than Divrei Torah. Why? Ask any observant Jew. People always have a Yetzer Hara, and unfortunately, it's a movement nowadays, right? And what? And they say, well, don't keep the Rabanan openly. Excuse the pun. Yeah. So what? What? No, today in America. Yeah. I'm online. I have all kinds of people in my brother. It's Dukim. So Mimela, Rabbanan many times actually said, we know you guys. And sometimes Rabbanan became stricter on their own words more than in the Shal Torah. So people should keep the DeRabanan more than Torah because they know that we tend to, round corners in the Rabbanan. Here, that's not the case. Here, Misvare, the Torah is already a chumrah to the chomesh. Is it true that Rabbanan really were mechazik the words and said here too that you have to be as strict as the Torah? Isn't it enough that Rabbanan invented Demai? Because really the guy most probably took Meiser. They also imposed the extra chomesh. Is that so? Says the Gemara, yes. Omar Nachman, Omar Shmuel, live with it. Homani, you know who is the one who taught our Mishnah? Rabi Meir. It's Rabi Meir. The Omar, what did Rabi Meir say? Yes. Rabi Meir holds that even when things don't seem to be logical for you, Chachamim always uniformly, or consistently, Chachamim always made chizuk to their words as if it's divrei Torah, even when it seems to be extra machmir, as the following example shows. You have to read the example. Mechavrusa said the true thing. Mechavrusa is a big bucky in many things, especially in Gittin and Yavamas. Rabbi Meir never said that. Rabbi Meir never said the statement, Chachamim made their words as strong as Torah. We want to derive that from the following statement. Get it? Now, the Rabbi Meir said something which we're about to see now, and from there we derived that Rabbi Meir has that stringency. What did Rabbi Meir actually say? Before we continue, no, let's continue. The Tanya, it says in the Brayse, the beginning of Gittin, anybody who learned the beginning of Gittin, I made the get Medina Sayam. A person brought the get from Medina Sayam. Okay, which means, let's say the husband does not live anymore. Let's say she lives in Eretz Yisrael. She lives in Bnei Brak, and the husband lives in a very thriving Torah community of Yehupitzville, South Dakota. Yehupitzville, South Dakota, nothing against Yehupitzville, South Dakota. But when we receive a get from Yehupitzville, South Dakota, we don't know who's the rabbi. Let's assume he's Orthodox. Maybe he's a nice, charismatic 23 years old who knows how to speak. No, hopefully it's no. He's with a little black kippah even. But he's very charismatic. He has 500 YouTube videos. No, what white? He's 22. In other words, when you bring a get from Dina Sayam, you don't always know, who wrote the get. Especially one concern Chazal had was Lishma. There was a big problem in times of Chazal that the Bati Dinim in Chutz La'aretz were not Bnei Torah. The level of Yiddishkeit was not as high as in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, they said whoever brings the get from Chul has to say, it has to be a shliach. Yes, no, not known to Beis Din, but the shliach has to be a person who knows what he's talking about. The messenger that brings her the get to her hands here, and he's like the husband's long arm, literally, halachically. And he has to say b'fonei nechta. That shliach that has been knowledgeable has to say it was written in front of me, and was signed in front of me, and I saw that the get was written Kedas V'Chadin. One main concern was Lishma. In other words, even if the get seems to be, wow, terrific, very good looking get, you don't know if they wrote it Lishma. Maybe they wrote Sarah. You remember, we learned that in the Sugi in Perek Rishon. Maybe they wrote Sarah Bas Moshe. You know how many Sarah Bas Moshes are in the Jewish world? Million. How do you know he meant that Sarah Bas Moshe? Maybe they have a whole galore of git in there, like in the store. Sarah Bas Moshe. Maybe they didn't write it with her in mind. That's not something that the klaf can tell. It has to be a shlich that tells you that. So therefore, Chachamim made a very strong takon, and that's gittin. And maybe get Medina Sayam has to say, B'fonei nechta, b'fonei nechtam. I personally witnessed, it was written and signed in front of me, and I'm an eligible guy, you know, and I know that everything was done properly, and that rabbi in Yehupitzville, South Dakota, really knows what he's doing, and the get was written properly. Okay, very nice. By the way, it's a problem, because I spoke to a guy who got married conservative, and he told me the conservative, they take the gittin from Orthodox. So it's a suffix if it's good or bad. Yeah. His Rav was like, Rabbi, whatever. It was not completely bad, not completely good. So it was a Suffolk Gershon when he divorced his wife, which is Suffolk Jewish, but that's the point. The kids are, yeah, America. So now, by the way, why did it say Yehupitzville, South Dakota? I think South Dakota may be a nice place. I don't know. If it's from Lakewood, it's different. I'm not joking for a change. The Gemara says that if it's from Bavel, it's different. Because Bavel was a Torah center, was a thriving Torah center. There, people know. They were talking about, if the get comes from Lakewood, from Gateshead, maybe it's different. Yeah, it comes from places which we don't know. Then we have to. I'm not saying halacha l'maisa. Conceptually, I'm talking. Now, what does that have to do with us? Let's continue. Maybe get Medina Sayam. Nesanoilo, he gave it to the woman already, and he is like the husband's long arm, and she received the get. Lucky woman, she's free to go and get married with whoever she wants. He forgot to add the big red letters, the DeRabanan requirement. He did not mouth the words b'fonei. So Midaraisa, she's 100% okay. Midarabanan, she's not. And you know what she did? 3 months later, because she can't get married before. 3 months later, she got married to her beloved Basheret. And then, but the get was given to her without the DeRabanan string attached to it. He did not say nechtam. Yoitzi v'havlad mamzer divi Rabi Meir. Cool. Her new husband has to divorce her, and if they have a baby from the second one, the baby is mamzer DeRabanan, but mamzer all the way. Can't even get married because she's like an eshes ish, says Rabi Meir. Wow. So Rabi Meir says when it's chachamim, no nonsense. Even though b'fonei nechtam is an extra chumrah, but lemaisa chachamim have the right to be mevatel din Torah, so to speak, and say as long as Rabanan requirements are not met, it's keilu she's not divorced. He has to divorce, and the new baby from the new husband is a mamzer because she's like with the Rabanan eshes ish. Wow. The chachamim say en avlad mamzer. Chachamim say no, bedieved the blood is not a mamzer. Of course, he should have done it. But bedieved, if she got married already, the blood is not mamzer. You should know, Chachamim don't easily label someone as mamzer. If anything, many times there are problems with Eshes Ish that Rabanan actually avoid in order not to label people as mamzer. I'll give you an example. What happens if somebody, a man and a woman, are misyached? They close themselves in a hotel room, in an office, in the forest, also yichud, yeah? And they're caught not doing anything bad. Yichud alone is an isser. Doraisa, Be'eshes Ish, yeah. So now, if it's a regular man, woman, that she's not married, they get malchus. You lash them, the Rabbanan, malchus mardus. If it's an Eshes Ish, you don't lash her. Why? It's more chomur. Says the Shulchan Aruch, based on the Gemara, the end of Kiddushin, because we don't want people to think that she really did something wrong, and then the kids will be labeled mamzerim. Sometimes we're more makel with Eshes Ish, ironically, not to label our kids as mamzerim, because people say, hey, they lashed her. Oh, yeah, she went to the room with that guy. Ooh, those kids, not in my shidduchim list. And that's why they're makel. Here, Rabbi Meir felt it's so important to impose the Rabanan and make Rabanan not unanimous, equivalent to the Doraisa, even though the Vlad will be called a mamzer, we go all the way. That's Rabbi Meir. Chachamim say, no, he's not a mamzer. Of course, you should have done it right. And he should have, yeah, but if you didn't and she went ahead and got married, the Vlad is not mamzer. Ketzad Yaseh. Now, what's a Ketzad Yaseh? Back to Rabbi Meir, according to Tosfos. According to Tosfos, what should have been done? Yitlenu mimena, he should have, before she got married the second time. After he realized, oh, I forgot to say as long as she didn't get married second time, there is hope. What should he do? Take it from her, take it back from her, and give it again to her, again in front of two Eidim. That's also chiddush. The get was given. We basically reverse it and replay the show. And this time, make sure to say before nechtam. According to Tosis wants to say that according to Rabanan, you can do it after she got married. Big chiddush. She got married already. She's with the second guy, tichel in her head, happily married to the second guy. They knock on the door and say, "Oh, we forgot to say before nechtam. We still can. Your kids are not mamzerim." Yeah, she has already 3 kids. And what? And they still give us back the get, and they give it back to her again. The shliach. All we care about, though, one thing we see here clearly, according to Rabi Meir, the DeRabanan, whenever they even though it's an extra chumrah, when Rabanan imposed their halachas, they made the halachas as strong as the Rabanan. Now, Rabi Meir didn't say, but we assume just like Baghetti said it, so too by Dmai he would say too. And that closes the circle here for our Mishnah. Who is the one who believes that Dmai, just a completely DeRabanan idea, who says by Dmai you have to pay chomesh if you ate it by mistake? That's who? That's Rabi Meir. Because Chachamim said it's equal rights. Whatever applies to the rice applies to the Rabanan, even though it looks like a crazy chumrah for you. I'm sorry, says Rabi Meir. Rabanan are not a joke. We're not open, whatever. Right. As you correctly said, according to Chachamim, the way we hold now, then no. Then if you ate the truma meiser of Dmai, you don't have to give the extra chomesh. But Rameir holds you do. Very nice. Weiter. We may use the whiteboard soon. Frag the Gemara. No. I missed. The line starts with the word in. Rabi Meir l'taime. Rabi Meir follows his own reasoning. Domer v'imnuna mishmei de'ula. Oy me'or Rabi Meir. Kol ha'meshane. No. Excuse me. Rabi Meir. Excuse me. Line starts with befone nechtam. Apologies. Befone nechtam. Yeah, well, I already said it ba'al peh. I sometimes say what the Gemara says before the Gemara says it. I'm sorry. Frag the Gemara as an afterthought. Rabi Meir, according to Rabi Meir, mishum delo omer lo befone nechtam. He just forgot those magic words befone nechtam, which to begin with are only an extra thing. DeRabanan. Yotzi v'avlad mamzer. Is that so? Is it so strict? Something which is a stringency, he takes it all the way, even to bedieved, to make a person mamzer. He is ruining a person's life for life and all his children. Says the Gemara, yes. Rabi Meir l'taime. Rabi Meir follows his own reasoning. Domer Rabi Mnuna mishmed de'ula. Rabi Mnuna on behalf of Ula said, Oimer hoy Rabi Meir kol meshane mi matbea shetov chachomim begitin yoytzi b'avlad mamzer. Oh, what Rabi Meir did say was not a general rule all over the Torah. Rabi Meir said, whoever changes from the, how do I say it in English? Matbea shetov chachomim, the way chachomim coined it. Whoever changes from the form, whoever changes the format that Chachamim actually established in Gittin, Vlad Mamzer. Ish is the very severe thing, right? And therefore, once Chachamim decided there has to be a certain shape and form and, looks to the idea of Gittin, even though it's the Rabanan, if you don't follow Rabanan, the Vlad is Mamzer. We are the ones, as I told you before, in behalf of Mechavrusa, we are the ones, of Nachman Omer Shmuel, we want to say that Rabi Meir did not only limit it to Gittin, he's also saying it regarding the entire Torah, including Dmai. Of course, Dmai is not as severe as Ish, right? Nevertheless, we want to expand it and say, just like Rabi Meir said in Gittin, we follow the Dorais and the Rabanan follow each other at the same level, so too the entire Torah, such as Dmai, there too Rabi Meir would be strict and say that Chachamim never fall short of the Torah. That's what we want to say. And here comes the Tiyufta. Good? Comes the Tiyufta. Meser of Sheshis is going to question that from a Mishnah. Now that Mishnah discusses, back to Chilul. Yeah, you like this story of, money is being, coins being changed of Meister Sheni. We're back there. So now, Let's talk now about Dmai. This is, I think it's a Mishnah in Dmai. Before we continue, I'll save you a lot of trouble here because it's one of these Gemaras that are, kilo wrong way around, that you have to know what's happening at the end of the Gemara to understand the beginning. Let's start as follows. Let's say you have 2 coins in your house. One of them already contains the Kedusha of Meiser Sheni, and you want to take it to Yerushalayim. From some technical reason, you don't want to take this coin, you want to take the other coin. Both coins are as nice as good, yeah? Let's say you're very lazy, and the coin that, it's an example that I invented, yeah, that I thought of. Your coin is, in a different apartment far away from you. You want to go to Yerushalayim, and you say, you know what? I just want to change the Kedusha from one coin of silver, let's say from Sela or Dinar. I want to transfer it to this coin for reasons of convenience, yeah? That, we'll see later, is not such a good thing, because Pidyon has to be something from one type of coin to another type of coin. From one coin to another coin, if Hekdesh, Meiser Sheni doesn't gain anything from that, it's time you want to change from one coin to another coin, that l'chatchila is not something you should do. I'm not sure bedieved it works, but definitely not something that should be done. Okay? Now, what happens when you want to change from a silver coin, for example, and Isar? Isar is a machlokes Shoshani if it's from silver or not. Let's say dinar. Dinar is for sure silver. Yeah? You want to change from, or mo. Mo is from kesef. You want to change from mo into prutos. Yeah, the prutos are small and everyone agrees from nechoshes. Can I change my meiser outside Yerushalayim from the big fancy silver coin into the small little nechoshes coins, ones made out of copper? I would say yes, it's convenient, because now in Yerushalayim, I can go to the greengrocer or go to the beef store and buy meat right away. The answer is no. We'll see later in the sugya that to change from an important coin outside Yerushalayim, before you actually use it in the makolet in Yerushalayim, when you're still in Bet Shemesh, to change from a fancy choshev, a valuable coin, into more inferior coins is called zilzul. It looks as if you're belittling Hekdesh, because you're taking the important coin, changing the Kedusha, and relieving your choshev coin, the silver nice one, from Kedusha, and placing the Kedusha on less important coins. That alone, yeah, is not a good thing to do. Either because it's not covered, or because the what's his name, the copper ones, they tend to rust quicker. Yeah, the choshes gets very rusty very quickly. And that's why, 2 reasons why it's not kedai to do that. Now that I said that, you're going to get it very, very easily. You're going to get the story very easily. Says the Mishnah about Dmai, not Meiser Sheni. We're talking here about Meiser Sheni of Dmai, which is the Rabanan. Look what it says. Mechalel oiso kesef al kesef. You're allowed to change from one silver coin that has Meiser Sheni of Dmai on another silver coin. Nechoishes on nechoishes, from one copper coin to another copper coin, which is something we said is not so recommendable otherwise. But in Dmai, you do that. Kesef al nechoishes also. You can take the shiny silver coin that has Dmai Meiser Sheni and make it, transfer it to the nechoshes, to many, many little nechoshes ones. And moreover, now another nekuda, did it ever occur to you what happens in that case? Imagine yourself, you have, let's say, grapes, for sure the Chayv Meiser Sheni, okay? You transfer the grapes into a silver coin. Now that silver coin, you want to use it to pay your tuition fee. And now you want to take the coin and redeem the Kedusha on other fruit, on bananas. Can you take those bananas to Yerushalayim? Machlokes. Says the Mishnah, so v'yachzor v'yifde esaperos divrei Rabi Meir. So Rabi Meir, no. You can't take, so to speak, second-hand peros to Yerushalayim. As the Torah prescribes, you can either take the original fruit, that's recommendable, the real meiser, or a coin that has a kedusha. But if you already transferred from the grapes to the coin, and from the coin to the bananas, those bananas you cannot take to Yerushalayim. You have to transfer them again to other coins. You can either have the original fruit or coins, even the 15th coin. That's what Rabi Meir says. The Chachamim are saying, no. Yalu Peres v'yochlu b'Yerushalayim. Chachamim are more lenient, and they say no. I can do the root of grapes, real Meiser Sheni, into coin into bananas. I can slap the bananas like an African and take it to Yerushalayim and eat the bananas in Yerushalayim. That's another machlokas. But did you notice actually what's the catch over here? One of the people mentioned in the Mishnah, his name is Rabi Meir. And what did the beginning of the Mishnah say? You can change silver for silver, copper for copper, and silver for copper. What about copper for silver? For sure. From copper to silver, of course you can, because that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. It's even better. The chiddush is that even all those iffy things, when it comes to Demai, you are allowed to change them. And one of the actors in the Mishnah, one of the people in Mishnah, or the Tanakh was Rabi Meir. Are you beginning to see what's going on here? If you don't, let the Gemara ask the question. Frag the Gemara, Umi mechalalinan kesef al nechoshes? Is that so? Does it make sense to you that you would change kesef, the choshev coin, downgrade it to nechoshes, and that's okay when it comes to Dmai? Listen to the following story. Well, Tanan, it's really easy, but I think it will be even easier when we draw it on the whiteboard. Rabbi Tzvi worked so hard for the whiteboard. The gufa so we might as well use it. You can even ask questions for 2 minutes. Yeah.
Change outside
No, I said Yerushalayim. Stop. I'm being nasty. I'm being nasty. Okay.
All these kinds of changed outside Yerushalayim, yeah?
Yes.
Right. Now
in Yerushalayim, you can change whatever you want. In Yerushalayim, you come to the greengrocer with a big coin, he's not going to let you in. Then you change it for small coins in Yerushalayim because you have no choice, obviously. Right, that was discussed before. Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a very good point, but that's not the point right now. But nice idea. Right, let's see. Tnan, listen to the following. Yeah, that's a question mark. Sela shel meiser sheni. There's one sela. Which is the biggest coin in the times of the Talmud? Sela. Sela shel meiser sheni v'shel chulin shenisarvu. Oy, what a mess. We don't know which one. They all look the same, feel the same, and smell the same because money has no smell. So now this sela, samich for sela, and this sela, one of them is meiser sheni, and one of them is chulin, regular coin. Which one is the one? Says Rashi. Rashi doesn't say it. Rashi alludes to it. Rashi's miram is you could say take them both and treat them as meiser sheni. You could say that as long as they're betara. I'm not a millionaire. I'm sorry. One of them I want to take to Yerushalayim. I don't know which one. The other one I want to use for tuition fee and for buying shoes and socks for my kids. So it's a suffix. You don't know which one. Will the real Selah Meiser Sheni step up, please? And they don't step up. So I don't know which one's the real Meiser Sheni. What do I do? So then says the Mishnah. Now, by the way, this is Meiser Sheni, not Dmai. This is DeRabanan. This is the real deal DeRabanan. I'm not sure which one's the real deal already, but this is DeRabanan. Now, Mevi besela mois, bring other mois with the same value of sela. Ignore the number. You bring smaller coins, yeah. Mois, even the nechoshes ones, the copper ones. There are many more than 8, yeah. There are 8 times, I don't know, a million, whatever. You told me once. Sela is the biggest and most are the smallest. So you have to bring a lot of small mois from nechoshes, from copper. Right, the little mois here. Rashi says, I think mois. No, mois are not prutos, but mois are nechoshes. The mois here, Rashi says mois are nechoshes and not kesef. Mois, whatever. Mois from bekitzer, it's nechoshes. It's a smaller coin, a copper one. And what do you say? The same value as one of them, the same value as sela, number-wise, value-wise. The oimer, and you declare the following: Kol mokum sheyeshna sela shel meiser sheni. Get it? In other words, whichever one is the right one, I don't know if it's this or that, but I can work with suffix. I say whichever is the right one, and I don't know which is the one. The kedusha should be transferred on the mois. So now the kedusha magically moved into the mois from whichever one, and then I can do. You do it in korbanos also all the time. I can work with suffix. Whichever is the right one, I don't know what. It's all spiritual anyways. It's all like a bank transfer. And I transfer the Kedusha to here. Now the Kedusha is here. Okay. But that's not the end of the story. And then and then let's say one of them is nicer than the other. Let's say one cell, it's not like today. Back then, the newer, the shinier was also worth more, right? You take the nicer cell, boom, the shinier one, let's say. Yeah, that didn't help you till now because you didn't know which one's which. You take the nicer one, look at that. Then you transfer it back to her, back to it. At the beginning, you transferred mistofik on them. The kedusha was here. Now the kedusha was out of the doubt area, of the doubtful area, and it's back to the nicer one. And now I take the nicer one. What do I do with it? I take it to the holy city of Jerusalem, and I eat it there in Jerusalem. Yeah. Yeah. Now the question, there are many questions here. Why doing it in such a weird way? Yeah. Okay. Okay, the Zoom is not working again. Okay. Now, I would ask two questions. Question number one, why can't you take to Yerushalayim this one, right? Why can't you just take those, the copper ones, take them to Yerushalayim? Then, what? No, that's not the reason. The whole chilul from silver to copper is midoichak. Because they have no other choice, it's midoichak. Why is it midoichak? For two reasons, as I told you, my friends. One reason it's bizoyan. Secondly, the copper tend to rust and much quicker, so it's not respectable and it's not practical. Lo sheyekayim ken. You can't keep the meiser on those copper ones. That's why you have to go back and be mechalel again over the silver one. Now, frekt Rashi, and Rashi here argues on many Rishonim. Why can't we? We could have done it much easier, by the way. That we have to know. We could have done it much easier. You know what we could have done? We could have forgotten about those. Look, I'm covering them. You could have forgotten about the silver, about the copper ones. You could have said like this: I don't know which one is meiser, which one is what. Whoever is the meiser, I transfer the kedusha from. Let's take the nice one, the nice shiny one. If he's meiser sheni, great. And if he's meiser sheni, I transfer the kedusha straight from him to him. Nah. Why can't you do that? Says Rashi, because I told you why. Because from silver to silver is even worse. From silver to silver is not even a tzura of pidyon. Pidyon has to be from X to Y, not from X to X. To repeat the same thing just because you feel more convenient or you're lazy or you're confused or you're in shlemazel, that is not a reason to do a non-pidyon. That's Rashi's shita. Lemaisa, what comes out that, wait a second, we see two things from here, according to Rashi. Silver and silver, not even a thought. Silver to copper, the shasad chak. You have no choice, so temporarily, big red letters, temporarily, you can transfer from here to here and then back to the silver. But it has to go back to the silver. So we see clearly when it comes to real meiser, when it comes to real meiser sheni, we did not transfer silver, and definitely not silver to copper. Tani miyas, nun vav amud the third line. Nun vav. Did I make a bracha? Tani miyas. We see one thing for sure in the Mishnah. Mechalelin midoichak. The whole chilul from silver to copper was, I have no choice. What a confusion. What to do. What a story. Doichak. Midoichak in. Shaloi midoichak loi. So we see when it comes to the oraisa, which is here, but you have no choice. You ask the rabbi a question, sometimes the rabbi makes a face, and it says, it's okay if you have no other choice. That's what's going on here. And yet, when it came to meiser sheni d'mai, we said, go ahead and do it. Silver, copper. It's a free country. Do what you want. Mashma, we're way more mekel in the Rabanan of d'mai than the oraisa. And the bad news is, one of the Tanoi mentioned in that Mishnah was Rabi Meir. So we see the Rabi Meir, which you claim to say is not only in Gittin. You claim Rabi Meir all over the Torah, always compares the Rabbanan to the Oraisa. Here, put two and two together, and you see Rabi Meir in the Oraisa and real Meiser Sheni, we're very particular about the metals. And here in D'mai, he's being so free. He's being, Tel Avivian. What's going on over here? Yeah. Answers the Gemara. Good. So that's a tie on what we said before. Answers the Gemara. No. Yesh v'yesh. Omar of Yosef. Answers of Yosef. Nun v'am v'am daleth. Afal pishamekti lo b'meir b'pidyoinoi. Machmiru b'achilosoi, that's a different story. There's the pidyon of Meiser Sheni, and there's eating Meiser Sheni, which you shouldn't have. That's all different story. Which means to be poide, the Meiser Sheni of DeRabanan, meaning Dmai, Rabi Meir is being way more lenient. Rabi Meir did not always say his rule. He said it when things are real strict. What do you mean strict? Eshes strict. Last time I checked, it's one of the 3 cardinal sins, right? That's what you say it in Hebrew. Yeah, Gimel Averes Chamuras, right? And also eating Dmai. In the Mishnah, my friend, what happens when you eat Ma'aser Sheni outside Yerushalayim? I told you a few days ago. It's not a test, but do you remember? What happens if you eat Ma'aser Sheni outside Yerushalayim? It's an Isur D'Oraisa, my friend. Isur D'Oraisa of Lo tuchalecho b'sharecho masad goncho tiroshcha v'yitzarecho. Dvorim Yudbeis Yudalit, somewhere around there. Lav D'Oraisa, my friend. Lav D'Oraisa, it's equivalent to DeRabanan. I'm strict. And if you ate that Ma'aser Sheni of Dmai outside Yerushalayim, yeah, or excuse me, I made a mistake. I was right, by the way. I made a mistake now. I was right about Ma'aser Sheni, but I made the mistake regarding our Gemara. Our Gemara talks about Truma. We are comparing Truma to Ma'aser Sheni. That's even worse. What happens? Excuse me. I'm sorry, it's a mistake. Our Mishnah spoke about chomesh of Truma of Dmai. Remember? Truma of from the Levi to the Kohen, Truma Smaiser. You tell me what happens if I, a regular Yisrael, eat Truma. What's the punishment? B'mezid, Nisa b'dei Shamayim. Nisa b'dei Shamayim. Nisa b'dei Shamayim. B'shoigeg, 5th. But it's an Isur D'Oraisa that's strict because its Mezid version is the Nisa b'dei Shamayim. When you talk about eating Truma, because the D'Oraisa is so strict, Rabanan follow along with Eshes Ish, the strict stuff. Rabbi Meir is strict, even in the D'Orabanan version of the strict D'Oraisa. But Shenken to be poide Ma'aser Sheni, that's not such a story. That's not such a chomerdika thing. Now, the style of pidyon, silver, copper, not so mechubed maybe, but Lamaisa, you did transfer the kedusha. You know, not the end of the world. You didn't transfer it the best way possible. Kedusha was transferred. In that case, the Rabanan are not machmir, and they say it's okay bedieved, even if you were more lenient than Torah, because the Torah, that section of Torah is less chamor of pidyon, and therefore the Rabanan are not so machmir. So yesh v'yesh. Okay, 2 more lines. We'll keep that for tomorrow, and I'll let the peanut gallery talk. Do you have to take Meister from peanut gallery? D'Oraisa Rabanan. No, D'Oraisa Rabanan. Not joking. Rabanan. If you're an American, maybe D'Oraisa. It's Shiva Minim Shenishtachu B'Am America. Peanut. Right? Jimmy Carter. No? Have a great day, everybody. Atzlacha Rabba b'chol inyonim. Azor b'tshuva. Shavuot tov.